Your lead generation process is costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because in the last 30 days alone, we've helped our clients book over 75 qualified sales calls, and every month the results get even better. So if you're not seeing similar results, there's clearly something wrong. Now, the craziest part is that we're not using paid ads, complicated funnels, or any other growth hack that every client acquisition guru is going on about. In fact, we're only using one simple strategy, and that's cold email. You see, there are 3 secrets that all 7-figure agency owners aren't telling you about cold email that essentially guarantee results. And I've used these same secrets to help over 20 businesses scale their lead generation just to prove it's not luck. The thing is, 99% of agencies don't even know these secrets, so it's no wonder you're still struggling to get qualified calls booked on your calendar. Now, I'm on a mission to help 1,000 agencies and B2B businesses scale past 7, 8, and 9 figures by showing them what actually works with cold email completely for free. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to reveal these 3 secrets that guarantee you'll start getting some new deals in the door using cold email. Let's dive in.
So now I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can scale your agency or B2B business past 7, 8, or even 9 figures just with cold email in 2025. By the end of this video, you should have a pretty good understanding of how to build lead lists, how to write scripts, how to launch campaigns, and how to identify which campaigns you should scale and which you shouldn't. Now, just a quick note, I'm going to be going through a document throughout this video. If at any point you feel like I'm going too fast, I highly recommend that you pause the video and go through the document at your own speed, just so that you don't miss any important details. Let's dive in. So just a quick truth about cold email and lead generation in general in 2025. 99% of businesses are still wasting money on paid ads, complicated sales funnels, and other expensive and outdated marketing tactics. If you're still doing lead generation the old way, the way that it used to work 3, 4, 5 years ago, you're basically just falling behind. The 1% of businesses that are actively trying to stay ahead of the curve are spending tens of thousands just to make sure that they get these 3 secrets I'm about to share with you right. So pay attention, because I'm giving you away this information for free. And these secrets have nothing to do with overpriced tech stacks, no crazy AI automation. You can do everything that I'm about to share just from your laptop with a couple $100. So this is basically the 80-20 of cold email lead generation. See, the 80% essentially comes down to targeting. In other words, your lead lists, okay, the people that you're reaching out to. Now, I have a specific copy-paste strategy that I've been using in 2025 to be able to identify prospects and then build targeted lead lists, targeting precisely those people. And it doesn't require any complex tools, doesn't require spending thousands in software either. In fact, it's only going to take you like half an hour or an hour max. So I'm going to walk you through the exact steps in the exact order that you need to do them. Let's go. Here's exactly what you need to do. The first thing is an ICP deep dive, meaning you need to know who your ideal client profile is. Now, your ideal client profile is basically the perfect company as well as the perfect person who'd be a decision maker for your products or services. Now, what I want you to do is get a piece of paper, write down these 10 questions on that piece of paper, and I want you to start answering those questions. Before you move on to the next step of this video, you should have these questions answered, because I'm going to walk you through in the exact order, and it's going to help if you have these answered already. So the first question is, who exactly is your ideal client? Write down everything you know about these companies. What are 5 to 10 examples of companies that you'd consider to be your ideal clients? What are the locations of these companies? What is the head count, the annual revenue? What industries do they operate in? What keywords do they use? What technology tools are they using? For example, if it's an e-com brand, they could be using Shopify. Have these companies been funded? Are they hiring? If yes, for what roles? So as I said, this is going to give you a pretty solid understanding of your ideal client profile. So take some time to actually answer these questions, because they're going to help you with all the following steps. Now, the second step is the lead list building framework. So once you've answered those 10 questions, you can now move on to this section. What I want you to do is open your laptop and pull up apollo.io. This is where you're going to build your lead list. You want to filter the email status on the left column where all the filters are to verified and unverified. This just means that you're only going to be looking at contacts that have an email address. It might be verified, might be unverified, verified, but we're going to use another tool to actually verify the email address later on. So all you want now is people with email addresses. So the next thing you need to do is look for companies that match your exact criteria. Now you know what your ICP is, so you should be able to do this pretty quickly. All you need to filter for is the industry, keywords, technologies, headcount, and even location if you only work with companies in a specific country or city. So just to give you a quick example of what this would look like, if you're going after e-com brands, for example, for the industry, you could put retail and apparel and fashion. For keywords, you could just put a bunch of keywords that these companies would have on their website to narrow down your search. For example, if you're going after sports fashion brands or luxury fashion brands. Then technologies could be Shopify, WooCommerce, any other technology that these companies would typically use. And then headcount just depends on the type of company, on the size of the company that you want to work with. So once you do that, you want to focus on the decision makers in those companies that have authority. For example, if you're selling marketing services to e-com brands, so you would go after C-level executive, the VP, director, and head of that specific department. So essentially that would just be the CMO, the VP of marketing, the director of marketing, and the head of marketing. If you're going after the sales department, you could go after the VP of sales, director of sales, or the head of sales. So that's basically it. That's all you need to know regarding building a list on Apollo. These are the only filters that you need to use in order to be able to build an accurate lead list. And once you do that, you need to export the list, and now it's time to verify the email addresses. Because remember, before we filtered for unverified and verified. So now it's time to verify all the email addresses. And you can use Million Verifier, ListMint, or ListKit to verify your email addresses. It doesn't really make a difference. All these tools do exactly the same thing. And once you've done that, you want to export the good emails. You could export the risky ones if you want to validate them using another tool. I think ListMint can do that for you. But if you're using any of the other two tools, then just export the good emails, and that's it. That's all you need to know regarding how to identify your ICP and how to go ahead and build a lead list. Now, if you're more advanced and you want to take this a step further, and you're also a bit more flexible with your budget, then you can import the CSV file now into Clay, and you can get even more precise with your data. For example, you could use Claygen to scrape company websites, to scrape LinkedIn URLs, and then you could use that to narrow down the industry. For example, if you're targeting marketing agencies, you can narrow that down to an email marketing agency based on the services that are offered on that company website. The next thing you could do is you could also find the target clients that these marketing agencies work with. So if you're going after marketing agencies and those marketing agencies work with e-com brands, you could use Clay to actually identify that and call that out in your email scripts, which I'm going to get to in the next step. And the final thing you could do is also call out case studies. So you could actually mention in your scripts that I noticed you worked with XYZ company, and that also helps to add an extra touch of personalization in your scripts. So I know this is related to scripts, but you need to do this to your lead list in Clay in order to be able to then reference these data points in your scripts. So that's basically it with the first secret. This is a super simple strategy that 99% of people do not know how to do properly, and you know exactly how to do it now. You know how to identify your ICP in exact detail. You know where to build your lead list. You know what filters you need to use. You know that you then need to verify the email addresses, and then you can also import them into Clay. And if you actually do that and you have no idea how to use Clay, Clay has its own university on its website, which I highly recommend that you go and watch. It goes through all the beginner stuff that you need to know before you start using that tool. So everything I said here would make complete sense. Now let's move on to the second secret. This is the personalized script writing framework. So once you have the leads, you still need to write scripts that are relevant to those people. Okay, so I've developed a super simple end-to-end script writing framework that allows me to generate hundreds of meetings every month for my offer and for my clients. So here's my exact process. I'm going to walk you through subject lines, openers, the body, and your CTA. Now, I want to give you everything in the simplest way possible, in the way that you can actually just get this information and go and plug it into your own campaigns. So for the subject lines, there are no fancy tips or pieces of advice I could give you. I have these 5 subject lines that have been working really well for me. All you need to do is take these, replace the variables, and that's it. So for example, the first one would just be company name at, for example, Sparklead, which is my company. Or in this case, it would be first name and then Alex. Idea, add your first name. Dealing with, for example, here would just be a pain point that your ICP is dealing with. And that's it. You shouldn't spend more than 3 minutes on your subject lines. You have 5 winning templates here, and that's basically it. For the opener, you have a couple of options here. And you could either lead with a pain point, you could either lead with a company specific detail, recent industry news, personal LinkedIn activity, website information, and customer testimonials. So this pretty much depends on if you're using Clay or not. If you're not using Clay, then you could definitely lead with a pain point. If you just get your ICP, plug that into ChatGPT and ask it, what are the pain points that these companies are going through that are related to my service and my offer to them? And then based on that, you can call out a pain point and just say, are you dealing with XYZ? I'm asking because we can help you do XYZ. And then for the company specific detail, if you have Clay and you can scrape their websites, you can then call out something specific. Recent industry news, this is something you can do without Clay. You just need to call out something relevant that's happening in the industry. And then you can show how your offer relates to solving what's going on in the industry. Personal LinkedIn activity, this is usually also done more precisely with Clay because you don't just want to say, hey, I came across your LinkedIn profile. But if you can actually use Clay to call out the number of years that they've been working at their company, that's also really good. And then website information and customer testimonials, you pretty much need Clay as well. So I'd recommend if you're not using Clay, you could just go for some recent industry news or a pain point, something super simple and something you can do for free with ChatGPT. Now, the next step is the body. So once you've set the opener, the next thing you need to do is tell them what the offer is. I've given you 2 templates here, how you're going to phrase your social proof and how you're going to phrase your own offer. So all you need to do is replace X, Y, Z, and the risk reversal with things that are relevant to your offer. So in my case, because I do cold email lead generation, it would be, we can run highly targeted cold email campaigns on your behalf to generate 8 to 20 qualified leads for your offer within 30 days, or we'll keep working for free until we hit that target. Social proof, we recently did this for another client and helped them book 37 meetings within 45 days. That's all you need to do for the body. So regardless of what you're selling, this template works. It's usually just, we can X your Y within a certain amount of days, or you don't pay, or we'll keep working for free, or we'll give you a full refund. There are so many ways that you can add a risk reversal. And this is a very good template, very easy for you to actually just write your offer. So the next step is the call to action. Once again, I feel this doesn't need to be too complicated. So rather than giving you some generic advice, I feel like it would be easier to give you, just like I did with the subject lines, just 3 quick templates, open to a quick chat, interested in learning more, mind if I share a quick video explaining further. If you use any of these 3, that's all you need to know regarding the call to action. The whole point here is just, it needs to be a question, always a question. It needs to be something that's easy to say yes to. And it always helps if you can give away some free value before asking for a quick chat. So not to say that this doesn't work, but if you can give away a quick video explaining something extremely valuable for them, or if you can give them a free resource that is valuable, that would work really well. So just so I can show you what this looks like in practice, this is what the final script would look like. Hey, first name, came across your website and noticed you run paid ads for fashion brands. We have an AI tool that can automate 90% of your creative production process, helping you improve speed to market while adapting ad creatives for different formats. We recently helped another marketing firm produce 200 creatives within 4 minutes for Under Armour's Project Rock campaign. Open to learning more? This is pitching an AI tool to marketing agencies that work with fashion brands. So essentially, I have an AI tool that can automate 90% of their creative production process, allowing them to launch campaigns faster and also adapt ad creatives in different formats. I'm giving them the relevant social proof here. I've worked with a massive company like Under Armour. Everyone knows the Project Rock campaign as well. I'm giving them the relevant social proof here as well. So I'm saying that this tool has actually helped another marketing firm exactly like yours produce 200 creatives within 4 minutes. So anyone who actually produces creatives knows that doing that in 4 minutes is extremely impressive for Under Armour's Project Rock campaign. Everyone knows Project Rock campaign, and it's just relevant social proof. It's also a fashion brand, and it's also a top tier fashion brand. So as you can see here in the opener, I'm opening up with something that I noticed on their website. I noticed that they do specifically paid ads for fashion brands. So I'm calling out company specific information. I'm giving them the offer. This is not the exact template that I used, but you don't need to follow it strictly. I'm just saying that if this is the first time you're writing scripts or you haven't found a template that works for you, then you can always go ahead and use that. But that's not to say that other scripts won't work. The point is, you need to show what your offer can do and how exactly you can solve your ICP's pain points. So in this case, for a paid ads agency, maybe it takes a long time or it's very tedious to adapt all the ad creatives for different formats. So I'm saying that I have a tool that can solve this for you. It's extremely valuable for these companies. Now, the email sequence just needs to be 2 or 3 steps long, meaning that you can follow up around 1 or 2 times after this email. And then you also need 3 to 4 variants for each step. So once again, you could always use ChatGPT or Claude to do this, but essentially you could create 3 different variants of this email script. Now, how do you create different variants? All you need to do is you need to split test different components of this script. So for example, the best way to do this is just pick something that you want to split test. Let's just say it's the CTA. What you can do, keep the entire script the same and just change the CTA. So from open to learning more, you could just say, mind if I share a quick video explaining further? And that's it. That is a good split test because you're now testing whether this script variant would work better if I give away free value or if I just pitch a call. Now, the next thing you can do is you could split test the opener, for example. Instead of leading with company specific information, you could lead with a pain point that then relates to what you're solving in the next line. So it could just be that we've heard from other paid ads agencies that adapting ad creatives in different formats can be a struggle, for example. And then we have an AI tool that can solve that problem for you. You basically just want to say what the offer is. So the follow-up would just be something like, hey, I sent you an email the other day about helping you with XYZ. We have an AI tool that can help you do XYZ, and we recently helped another company exactly like yours do the same. Are you open to learning more? You're basically just reiterating the offer in a slightly different way. And then regarding inbox management, something that is really important is that when you do get a response, you need to reply to interested prospects within 1 to 5 minutes, or else you're going to lose them. Now, something that's also very helpful to do is have a template library for common responses. So once you launch a lot of campaigns, you pretty much get a good understanding of what people are going to be asking you. If you want to make a template library for how to respond to those so you can do it quickly, then I highly recommend doing that as well. So that's everything you need to know regarding the scripts. You now know how to build a lead list and you know how to write a script. You know what to use for your subject lines. You know how to write an opener. You know how to write the body. You know what CTAs to use exactly. And you've also seen what the final script looks like. And you know that you need to do 3 or 4 variants and have a 2 to 3 step follow-up sequence. So let's get into the third secret now, which is the scaling strategy. Believe it or not, this is where most agencies fail because most people, they know how to build a somewhat decent lead list. They might know how to write an okay script. When it comes to scaling strategy, that's where everything goes wrong. And what tends to happen is that people will launch a few campaigns, they'll get a few good responses, and all of a sudden they think they've cracked the code. So what are they going to do? They're going to go launch another campaign, and surprise, surprise, that campaign is going to fail. Why? Because of insufficient monitoring. Now, what does this mean? It just means that usually people will launch campaigns and they won't track their metrics. So if a campaign performs well, they don't know exactly what led to that campaign performing well. Or if a campaign flops, they don't know why it flopped. Was it deliverability? Was it the infrastructure setup? Was it the script? Was it the lead list? Was it the offer? They have no idea what led to the specific result. So then they can't replicate that. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this section is that you need to know your metrics off by heart. Now, I have a specific process that I use to scale my campaigns from booking 1 meeting per month all the way to over 20 meetings per month consistently. And I'm going to walk you through that so you can do the same if you find a campaign that is performing well and you want to scale it. So the first thing you need is the initial infrastructure setup. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, you're going to go and buy domains, you're going to go and buy email accounts, you're going to warm them up for 14 days. As those are warming up, you're going to go ahead, you're going to build your lead list the way that I showed you above. You're going to go write some scripts and you're going to launch the campaign. I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding how to set up your email accounts because I have a whole separate video doing that. This was mainly focused on building the lists and writing the scripts. So if you are interested in what the setup should look like, then go ahead and check out the other video on my channel. Now, the next step is the testing framework. So here's what you need to A/B test: audiences and the script variants. So how do you test audiences? Let's just take the example of the AI tool. Let's say that AI tool can work for marketing agencies or companies in the marketing industry and another 3 to 5 industries. You need to go ahead and build a lead list just like you did for one industry, but just change the industry and the keywords for the other 3 to 5 industries. Once you do that, you want to launch campaigns targeted at all those industries just so you can see where you get better responses. responses. And then based off of that, you can get a pretty good idea of where there's more demand for what you're offering. Now, the next thing you want to test are the script variants. Remember how I said previously you need 3 to 4 variants? This is exactly why, because we need to test which one of these variants is working better. So for example, if you're testing different openers or different CTAs, some of them are going to perform better than others. And if you're using Smart Lead as your sending tool, it's going to tell you exactly how many responses each variant led to. So that means that you can know exactly which variants you need to double down on. So here are a couple of metrics that you need to know in order to be able to monitor your campaigns effectively. You have 3 things that you need to be tracking: your reply rate, your positive reply rate, and your meetings booked rate. So regarding the reply rate, if it's less than 1%, you have a deliverability issue. As I said previously, I have another video that goes over deliverability and all the technical stuff that you need to know in depth. But for this video, all you need to know is less than 1% means you have a deliverability issue. So it might not even be a script, lead list, or an offer issue. Less than 1% means a deliverability issue. It means that your emails are just not landing in your prospect's inbox. So that just means that you need to go ahead and check all your domains, your email accounts, and anything to do with the technical setup. Now, if your reply rate is more than 1%, so let's just say 3 to 5%, which is considered pretty good, then you're looking at your positive reply rate. If your positive reply rate, meaning that out of all the people who responded, how many of those responses are positive, if that's less than 5%, then you probably have a script issue, a lead list issue, or an offer issue, meaning that you need to go ahead and you need to make your lead list more accurate. Maybe you need to segment your campaigns better so you can make the scripts more precise. Maybe your scripts need improvement, or maybe it's just your offer. Maybe you need to change your offer. You need to add a guarantee. Maybe it's because you don't have social proof, so you need a stronger risk reversal. Now, let's say that your positive reply rate is more than 5%, meaning that you don't have a deliverability issue. That means you don't have a script, lead list, or an offer issue. Then your meetings booked rate is around less than 20%. That means you have an inbox management issue. So as I mentioned previously, that you need to be responding to prospects within 1 to 5 minutes. If you're taking 24 hours or 48 hours to respond to prospects, then you're just going to lose them. And that means that you need to go ahead and fix your inbox management, because it means you're getting positive responses, but then you're not converting those into meetings booked. So once you do all this testing, all you need to do is double down on the winning variants and then cut down on the losers. So once you do that, now you want to scale. So let's say you have a campaign that is performing really well. You have a 3% reply rate, you have a 10% positive reply rate, and you have a 20 to 25% meetings booked rate. Now, once you find a campaign that is hitting all these performance targets, it means you want to scale. Now, how are you going to scale? You're going to scale your infrastructure horizontally. So that means you're not just going to pump up the volume in the existing inboxes that you have, because that's just going to burn your email accounts and your domains. So what you need to do is go ahead and buy more domains and set up more email accounts. Depending on how confident you feel in your campaign strategy, and also dependent on your budget, you can go ahead and increase the volume by 20%, 50%, or even 100%. So regarding the lead list, you then need to go ahead and build more lists of the audience that responded the most. Go ahead and write more scripts using the winning variants, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you're going to scale. So just to recap of these 3 secrets that are going to put you in the 1%. Regarding the lead list, you know how to identify your ICP. You know how to go ahead and build a lead list in Apollo. You know that you then need to go and verify your email list using ListMint, ListKit, or Million Verifier. And then you can also then plug that into Clay. Regarding scripts, you have the framework that I've been using to generate hundreds of meetings for myself and my clients. So I'm pretty confident that if you take that template and then just write your own script based on your own offer, that's going to perform really well as well. And then regarding your campaign, if you want to know the technical setup, that's in a different video. But regarding scaling, you know exactly what metrics you need to track, and you know what performance targets you need to be hitting. 1% for a reply rate, 5% for positive replies, and 20% for meetings booked. If you're hitting those performance targets, that's your green light to scale that campaign. And then to do that, you're going to scale horizontally by setting up more domains, setting up more inboxes, either by 20, 50, or 100%, building more lead lists of the winning variants, and writing more scripts of the winning variants.
And that's exactly how to build a profitable lead generation system that books you around 10 to 20 qualified calls every single month. Also, part of doing cold email effectively is knowing how to write compelling scripts that get responses. That's why I just created a free masterclass that shows you my exact script writing framework, which you can check out by clicking on the video that's on the screen right now. But if you don't want to spend time learning how to write scripts and doing everything I mentioned in this video, and you just want us to come into your business and book qualified calls for you, then click the first link in the description. Once you're on there, just book a call with me if you're ready to start booking meetings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.